Hi guys. Today I'm going to be answering the question, what exactly is buying and merchandising? You'd find that buying and merchandising is probably one of the biggest departments in the fashion industry, and that's because the buyers and merchandisers are solely responsible for all of the stock that's going to make it to stores. They would range build and they would work together through sourcing, talking to factories, and working and developing styles all the way until they make it to stores. I'm also going to be talking you through what a good buying and merchandising team would aim to achieve at the end of their run. Something like really good sales, hopefully even selling out, really good profit margins, and even good trend analysis to the point where you've hopefully even made it to press, you've set a new trend even, things like that. Those are things that a good buying and merchandising team would want to achieve. So let's get into it. This is just a cool quote I found. I thought it was pretty cool. The first thing that a buying and merchandising team would do is they would range build together. So we used to do that through what we would call sign-off meetings. And in that, what we would do is we would analyse how the previous season has done if we're building the next season. So say we're building autumn-winter 2021, we would go back to how autumn-winter 2020 has performed, and we would analyse all of the bestsellers, we'd pick out what did really, really well. We'd also look at what didn't sell, but mainly we want to analyse what made the bestsellers from autumn-winter 2020 really good, and then we'd figure out how we want to move those styles along, how we can capitalise on those bestsellers a little bit more, or how we can redevelop it to make it even better. So, for example, let's say a good trench coat did really, really well in autumn-winter 2020. For autumn-winter 2021, we want to see, can we do more options in that trench coat? Should we do more colourways? Should we add a check or any print that's really good for this season? What goes into that is a bit of trend analysis too. So you would work with a design team, and what you would do is you'd analyse from runway and all of the other inspirations, what's hot right now, put that into that trench coat, and then hopefully develop another bestseller out of that style. Once you've decided what styles you're going to do, you would then develop sourcing. So sourcing is also another responsibility that falls mainly in the hands of the buying and merchandising team. And they are in charge of talking to all of the suppliers, all of the factories, and developing everything that they need. So swatch approvals and sketch approvals, you would send all of the tech packs to factories and really work on developing all of the styles that you've picked. And that would fall in your responsibility. A lot of things fall under that as well, because you also need to consider cost, profit margin, pricing, all of those things. So as much as, for example, the trench coat that I mentioned did really, really well, how I mentioned we want to improve the trench coat, we also want to improve things like the pricing of that trench coat. So let's say our customer really loved it, we want her to buy it again, or we want her to buy another option of it again. So we would think, how can we improve even the price of it? How can we make it a little bit cost effective for her, and things like that. So there's just so much technicality that goes into it, not even just the way that it looks, also how much it costs, how much each fabrication costs, how much each opening and zip and button costs. All of those things go into the consideration of the buying and merchandising team. I also mentioned trend analysis. That definitely falls into it. Trend analysis, I think we would also use the resources of the design team. So design do a design brief, and so they would just accumulate all of the catalogues, everything, visuals, to kind of feed to the buying and merchandising team and just let us know, this is really good, we need to do this, we need to buy into that, things like that. That trend analysis is just so key. Another thing that the buying and merchandising team would do to cover trend analysis is hit the streets ourselves. Like, we'd have to do comp shopping, we'd have to visit other stores, you know, we'd really go out there and see what's happening on the high street. Talking to your friends, if you see somebody out on a night out with, you know, wearing something cool that you really like, you'd find out where it's from, you know, just trying to identify any emerging trend and using that in your own range building is a huge deal. So yeah, I mentioned product development as well. So product development can mean anything from literally swatch approvals, colour testing, all the way until working with, we also have garment technicians and product developers who are a bit more technical with the manufacturing and can give us, you know, really detailed manufacturing guidelines when we're talking to factories. All of that falls under the responsibility of buying and merchandising as well, because that's obviously really important, the fit, the make, all of it. And also what happens is when stuff comes back, like say we have like that trench coat that I've mentioned, say that the fit is really poor and the return rate turns out to be like really high, like let's say 45% return rate, that's quite awful. That would fall back onto the responsibility of the buying and merchandising team, because, you know, you would be pulled up and you would be like having to answer to that, and you'd have to look into that for the next time you go into making another trench coat. So, you know, those are things to all really consider. And lastly, we have stock channels. So once your range is built, once you have all your products, stock channels is a big deal. We need to figure out where we're going to sell all of these products. Online, store, which stores, you know, we even have franchises, we even have international. So all of those things, again, fall under the buying and merchandising team, because then, for example, the trench coat, I'm going to keep using that example. Say we've decided that we're going to buy 1,000 units in a check, and then 500 in black, 500 in olive green. You need to decide how many of those, how many units of each style is going to go where. So it's not just as simple as banging everything online, which a lot of people may think. You know, we do split up the units. So as much as we've bought a certain amount, we've figured out how much is going to go online, how much is going to go in stores, and also there's store grades. So we have like stores that we know are gonna like just sell everything, so we would stock them the most, and then we have stores where we only feed them a little bit. So all of those factors go in, and it goes in right from the beginning. Like, these are not things we can figure out along the way, because, you know, we need to make sure we have the right amount of stock, and also that we can afford to buy that amount of stock. And some of the results and achievements that a buying and merchandising team would want at the end of their run is, you'd want your product in stores, hopefully. So seeing your product in stores is just one of the most fulfilling feelings. Something that you've been working on like literally 6 to 12 months before seeing it in store. Because like, as I mentioned, like right now we would be building autumn-winter 2021. And I know that sounds crazy because it's October right now. So autumn-winter 2020 has barely even begun, but a buying and merchandising team is already building autumn-winter 2021, because the way we're analysing is we analyse week on week. So we would look at good performing sales now, and then we'd figure out, okay, that's definitely going to make it next year because look how much it's selling, it's just hit down, and now look at it. And, you know, things like that, like it's literally an ongoing thing. Because think about it, September last month, we showed spring-summer 2021. So spring-summer 2021 is already done and dusted. Like, any good buying and merchandising team has completed the orders for spring-summer 2021. So the next season after that is autumn-winter. So that's literally how far ahead you're looking. So by the time you see your product in stores, it's just such a fulfilling feeling, or even better yet, seeing people out wearing your product. It's the best. A good buying and merchandising team would want to achieve a good profit margin. So those are numbers that we've crunched. We've been like, okay, she bought it at this price last year. Let's see if we can do any better. And then, you know, like just making that profit even better is just amazing. Leading trends and hopefully making it to press. That's the best. That's a picture from one of the press shows that I went to for Debenhams. It's just so nice, like seeing your stuff out there, seeing the buzz that happens, you know, releasing your style and everyone's just crazy for it. It's like, yes, we made a good decision. We analysed the trends well enough, you know. It's picking it out just as it's on its way up, not picking it when you're just like jumping on the bandwagon of an already leading style. What's amazing is getting into it right at the right time. That's really where the skill comes in. And sold out. You definitely want to sell out your product. You want to buy all of it to sell it. You don't want your stock left hanging, and then that's when you have to go into really hard sale mode and, you know, markdowns and all of that. So I mean, it happens, and we actually do budget for sale. We budget enough to know, okay, at this point we'll have to mark down this amount, but you just don't want that to go on for too long. So that's what a good buying and merchandising team would want at the end of their run. And so yeah, those are the things that we do in sign off. So sign off is kind of circular. We'd look at how last season went, and then we look at what we're range building for the next season, and then we do it all over again once it's finished. And that's literally, as an overview, how the buying and merchandising team works.